The Ghoul of Grays Harbor, the serial killer who might not have been. Mm-hmm. Well, needless to say, what if one of Washington's most notorious serial killer legends isn't actually true? More than 100 years ago, bodies began turning up in the waterways around Grays Harbor. Now, locals called them the Floater Fleet. And eventually, one man became the name associated with those dead men: Billy Gould, the so called Ghoul of Grays Harbor. The legend says that Gould was responsible for dozens of murders, possibly more than 100 of them, in fact. But here's where the story gets really interesting. Gould wasn't some mysterious drifter hiding in the woods. He was a powerful labor organizer in Aberdeen at a time when Grays Harbor was one of the most important lumber producing areas and regions in the country. The men disappearing around the harbor weren't random strangers. They were sailors, loggers, and migrant workers living and working in an incredibly dangerous industry. People fell from ships. People drowned. And of course, people were killed in logging accidents. And many bodies were never identified. Migrant workers. Then Gould was convicted of murder. And suddenly, an enormous number of unexplained deaths could be blamed on yet one man. But historian Aaron Goings went back through the court records, newspapers, and historical archives. And what he found doesn't fit neatly into the legend. You see, Gould was convicted of just one murder. The evidence that he was responsible for a massive floater fleet of victims is far less convincing. So why did the legend become so powerful? Because sometimes the real story isn't about a monster. It's about the world that created the monster story. Early Grays Harbor was violent, dangerous, and brutally unforgiving. And Billy Gould may have been a serial killer or a killer, but the evidence suggests that he was also something else. A powerful labor leader who threatened some very powerful interests. They might want him gone. And of course, that raises a much darker question. Did Grays Harbor really have a serial killer, or did it simply need someone to blame for all the bodies floating in the harbor? The book, The Port of Missing Men by Aaron Goings, digs into that very